Sir.
Okay. So anyone has doubt in SQL as what we discussed yesterday? So we just discussed about SQL yesterday. So SQL, it is like interface between COBOL program and database. Okay, to read data from any database, any means any relational database. Okay, so let me give you a brief overview before continuing on that. So can you see this presentation?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, I think you can see now.
Yeah.
So DB2 is a relational database, relational DBMS. So you would have seen in your academics like RDBMS and untadi. So RDBMS and relational database management system. So DB2 gani, Oracle gani. So these are all relational database management systems. Okay. So in these database systems, data will be stored in tables. Okay, so here you can see major, like we have three types of databases on mainframe. Some companies yes, will use IMS database, that was legacy database. So due to that complexity, they introduced DB2. Okay, so now every company has DB2. Some companies will, along with DB2, they also have IMS database. So IMS is not mandatory to learn. You just need to know what is IMS. That's it. Okay. So like I said in the beginning, IMS is optional skill that is not required, not mandatory to know. But I will, if we have time, I will explain IMS DB also. Just it is like to have add-on knowledge. Okay. Like, so these are three types majorly we see on mainframe. So these DB2, first one is DB2, relational database model. It is okay. So it has data like it is data present on tables, and the data look like that is populated with columns and rows. Okay. So for this example, you can see this relational model DB2 and Oracle also. So in this, data is stored on tables. So table structure is same as PS file structure. Yesterday just shown an example in Excel sheet, right? So the table structure, how we have data in PS file, the same file we store in the same data we insert in DB2 table. Okay. So we use SQL to read or write data from these tables. So this is first category. So you can see, so this is, so these are like tables. In between the tables, relation will be there. Okay. So here you can see first table, this is student table. It has student ID, first name, last name. And second table is like policy provider name, policy table. Okay. So it has policy provider ID and insurance name, like policy provider name, the company name. Okay, so you can combine these two tables and you can create new data, like new kind of report you can create. Okay. So like this, in between these tables, a column name will be common in these tables. Then we can combine these tables and we can create the new table like that. The relation will be there between the tables based on common columns. Okay, so I will explain that next in detail. Okay, so this is relational database model. Okay, next one we have hierarchical database model. So this is IMS DB structure. So IMSDB means Information Management System Database. So it's a legacy database of mainframe. So ఈ పాత database mainframe ని still there is a lot of data on IMSDB. So a lot of businesses they have core data on IMSDB. So due to complexity, what they do, they unload data from IMSD database. They again load in DB2 database and they use DB2 in the programs to retrieve data like that. కోర్ డేటా అనేది సో చాలా కంపెనీస్ లో ఐఎంఎస్ డేటా పైన ఉన్నది. సో that will be moved to DB2 again and that will be used from DB2. So DB2 అనేది easily we can access using SQL. So anyone, so nowadays everyone aware of SQL language. So that commands I explained yesterday, right? Select, insert, those commands. So due to that easiness, so companies are also preferring DB2. Okay, they unload this database into PS file and that PS file again they load into DB2 like that. The DB2 is directly that is like used to generate reports and all. Okay, so this is structure of IMS database. You can see it is like inverse tree structure, nothing but reverse tree structure. So it is root, library is a root of the tree. Okay, so you can see branches, books is one branch, magazines is one branch like that. So we call it as segments. So library is one segment, root segment, and books is next level segments and books and magazines. So after that, under books we have engineering, commerce. So those are engineering third level segments. Okay, under magazines we have health magazines, cars related magazines like that. So that is the third level segments under magazine. So like that we have levels, different levels, and maximum we have 15 levels, and we have segment, we call this as segments. Okay, here each segment, each box is like each segment, we call it as segment. So each segment it look like again PS file, or we can say DB2 table. So how we have data in PS file like employee ID, employee name, or you can say account number, customer name, salary, like how we have in PS file or in DB2 table, same way we have the data in these segments. Okay, so in library you can see like library name, library ID, library location. So library and name like that you have fields, library segment. Under library segment you have book segment, you have fields like book ID, book name, book cost, like that. Those are the fields. Okay, so accessing is bit different compared to DB2. So here we access data top to bottom, left to right, and yes, simply top to bottom and left to right. So you can see first after accessing library segment, then only we can access book segments. You can see arrow mark here. Like after books, then you can access the like top to bottom. Okay, the access path will start from root and then it will go to branches like that. Okay, once completing this complete left side part, then only you can go to right side part. Okay, like that, left to right. Okay, after completion of this IT commerce segment, you can go magazines like that. So like that, we have to access the data. So to access this IMS database, we use IMS calls. So you can see second category here, hierarchical database model. So we call it as segments, and you can see here parent-child relationship. So you can see library is a parent for books and magazine. So book segment is a parent for engineering and commerce like that. So engineering and commerce are child segments of book segment. Like that we have parent-child relationship here. Okay. So here in DB2 we have column and rows, right? The data is related between it is like distributed between columns and rows. Here you can see parent and child like that. So instead of SQL in DB2 we use SQL, right? Here in IMS we use IMS calls. So IMS call, that structure is, so we have basic IMS call structure. So we need to code that we need to give the call to this IMS database. Then only we get that access. Means we can get the data. Okay, so this is optional. Just I'm giving you to get some knowledge. What is IMS? Okay, so we can discuss at the end just high level. If we have time, we can go in detail also. So then last one we have network database model. So network database model for this very rare. I saw some one or two people they were working on IDMS database. So IDMS is an example for this network database model. So integrated database management system, IDMS means. So this look like this. So network database model is, sorry, this is IDMS, not I. Okay, IDMS only. So here you can see connection like anything. So anything, and there is no proper order. Like these are all connected like in puzzle, you can say. So like these are like networks. So anything has nodes. We call it as nodes. Between nodes, we have connections like wire connection like that. So I didn't work on that. So no, we don't have anything on much on this IDMS. So very rare. I didn't remember even names. So one or two people I heard like they were working on this. So in every company we have DB2. These are optional. IDMS you don't need to know. IMS DB also you don't need to know. So they will take and they will train. If you just you need to have DB2. If they have really work on IMS DB, they will recruit mainframe developer. Plain mainframe developer means who has knowledge on DB2, and they will train IMS DB. Okay, that is no need to have. That is not prerequisite for mainframe developer. Okay. Okay, so let's go to SQL. Again, we'll continue. We'll write the program today, COBOL DB2 program. So we use existing program and we'll change that. We convert that to COBOL DB2. Okay. So this is our files program, right? So we read a customer file into this program and we have created output file with only debit transactions. Okay. So same program I want to convert it into DB2. Okay. So I'm copying this code. So when you practice referring the screenshots, I request you to type in with your hands, then only you can remember these words. If you do copy and paste, you don't understand, you don't remember anything. Okay, so I did cut and I will create. So I'm in view mode. To create a member, you should be in edit mode. Okay, I'm going back F3 and edit here again. So S space member name. So first time only we give the member name in brackets. Here first time only we give the member name in brackets here beside this PDS name. We give like that. But once it has members, at least one member, if the PDS library has, we can directly edit and we can create the member here. S space PGM4. So it will create this member. So I can, to remove this warning, give yes reset. So paste. So sometimes you can see paste pending. In that case, you have to use here a for after. So it will paste after this line like that. So I have pasted the code from PGM3 to PGM4 member. Okay. So changing program name. So now we have to, what is requirement is, so I want to read this data from customer table, sorry, first customer file, and then I want to insert the data into DB2 table. Okay, we have this data, right? Okay, so this is file we have. Can you all go on mute if you are not speaking? Okay, so this is the data we have in file, right? So I want to read this data and I want to insert this into DB2 table. Okay, so for this, before going to that, I will explain one thing here. So can you all see these transcripts? It is enabled here. The words what I'm speaking, they are coming here.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you want to have that, or can I disable that? Somebody requested that it is enabled. I just enable that. I think that is not coming accurately. So I will do that, disable, and I don't know where we have that option again. Okay, so I will introduce about copybook now. Okay, so this layout we have, right, file layout. So instead of declaring the variables inside this COBOL program, we can do one thing. We can remove this. I did. Sorry. Okay. So I remove this variable declaration and I will keep this in a member. Okay. So I'm opening another screen. So I have already a PDS library created. That library name is copybook library. Or let me create new one, 3.2 A. So real time we see these copybooks. Okay, copybook library. So real time we keep the file declarations and all inside a PDS member that is called copybook. Okay, so record format and okay, yeah, I have created a copybook library. Okay, so there is no member initially. If you don't see any member, if the PDS file is empty, so you have to give the member name in bracket here. So I'm giving name like customer file, right? Customer copybook, cust CP book. I'm giving name. These are user defined names. You can give any names. Each project has their unique naming standards. You have to follow their naming standards. Okay. So they will tell you in KT. They will tell you what names they are using like that. Okay. So I just copied the layout. Instead of declaring these file variables, I am using a PDS member just to have these declarations. Okay, so this member we call it as copybook. Yes. So this member we call it as copybook. Okay, so we instead of this I'm deleting these lines. Instead of that I will simply use copybook name. Okay, and similarly this one also I can I will use same. So I'm will deleted this. So instead of simply I will use another copybook, copy file output copybook, right? Output copybook. I will name like this. You can name anything, but I'm just giving related names. Okay. Out CPBK. So here I'm creating another member. This here I will paste this. So if you see paste pending here, you have to use option A here. on first line. So after this line, paste it will be pasted. So you can see this. So now I have two copybooks inside this copybook library. Okay, I am referring these copybooks in this program. Okay, so now you see how the program length is reduced. Okay, there is no declaration. The declaration we have inside the copybooks. So after compilation, these copybooks will be expanded. So compiler will understand. Okay, if it refer this any field, like if it refer cost account field, it will understand. Okay, cost account field is this much length. This is alpha. This is numeric variable. This length is this, like that. It will expand these copybooks during runtime and it will understand. Okay, so if you compile this program, you can see the expanded copybooks there. So let me compile. So I'm going to compile JCL. So we never code compile JCL. Okay, no need to worry on that. We just code execution JCL. Means run JCL we code. Okay, so JCL. So where we have, yeah. So these compile JCLs we never code. We just have use existing compile JCLs. Okay. So I'm giving program name, and so here now I need to give copybook libraries. You can see here copybook copy library we have already, right? So we didn't use this till now. Now I just created a copybook name. This is the name of the library. So
Sir, I think it's COY, sir.
COY.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, very good. So we'll change this as meaningful. It will be meaningful copybook. Okay, you can just rename if you want to change any name. And if you want to rename, you can use R command, rename. You can rename the file library or PS file. You can rename the members also. Inside the PDS library, you can rename members also with R command. Okay. So I'm compiling now. So we just got max is 4 here. So you can see if you, this is job name. So I'm opening another screen. You don't need these many screens, just I'm opening to navigate easily. So going to school, let's see here. So this is the, if you see multiple jobs here, you can use job name here, space job name. Otherwise you don't need to copy, you can come to here directly. If you select this completely, you can see that. So if you expand this job, you can see data sets. So that messages will be printed in this different data sets, DD names. So these are, for every job we get these DDs, just JCL, message log, system messages. These three we get for every job. Okay. So in this, I will explain again when I explain the JCL topics, pending topics, but we can see. So this JCL will have complete JCL expanded. So this message log will have the execution status. So it has 2 steps. So the first step ran with 04, written code 04 warnings, and second step 0 successfully, like that. So in this one, sysprint, here you can see copybooks and all expanded here. So you can select like individually, you can select here, or you can simply select complete job and you can see all together. So you can see all of the statements in one page. You can see all these things. Or if you want to go specific message, if you want to see, I want to say COBOL expanded COBOL program. So here this is a step where I can say expanded COBOL. Okay, sysprint. So here you can see I used copy statement, right? So this is the copybook. So this is total complete program will be printed in compile log. Okay, this is called. So after every job, after submission of every job, there will be a log created in spool. So this compile job log will have this complete program printed here. ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్ మొత్తం ఇక్కడ ప్రింట్ అవుతుంది మనం రాసిన ప్రోగ్రామ్ అంతా కూడా it will be printed in this compile log. So you can see here copy అని ఉంది కదా, it just given this name. You can see expanded here, that is expanded here. So you can see, so this is expanded, it took from this library. So we gave this library name, right? This library name we have given this. So copybook library name we have given. So it took from there and it's expanded here, it is printing. You can see here C word, C means it is copybook, it is expanded from copybook like that. So okay, we'll go to the program. What is that? So why I'm explaining that? So in DB2 we have predefined copybooks, and one copybook we have predefined. So before explaining that, I want to show what is a copybook. Anyone has any doubt on this copybook? Is it clear or any doubt? Okay, so now, so we have the default copybook in DB2. So let me show the screen. So when the COBOL program has SQLs, we call it as COBOL DB2 programs. Okay, I will share a notepad and let me close few screens. It is not allowing to share other additional things. Okay, I hope you can see this notepad. Okay, so COBOL program, it is normal COBOL program. It do not have SQL. Okay, so if you see COBOL DB2, so COBOL DB2 program is nothing but COBOL with SQL statements or SQL commands. So this is called as COBOL DB2 program. Okay, so yesterday you have seen, can you all see this notepad?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir.
So plain COBOL do not have SQL or any database related calls. In case of IMSDB, it will have IMS call. So this is, so only it will use plain COBOL will use only files or anything. So other type we have COBOL DB2 programs. So the COBOL DB2 programs, a plain COBOL program means now whatever we have discussed, we have gone through, they are unlike plain COBOL, non-DB2. I can say simply non-DB2. Non-DB2 or plain COBOL, you can say. Okay, so this COBOL DB2 will have SQL statements along with COBOL. So we include SQL statements in between exec SQL and so exec space SQL and end exec. So these are the delimiters. So in between this we write the SQL. So we can write select query, whatever we saw yesterday, we can write all those things. Okay. So select, we don't use star in program, we use specific field names. So select means read customer account, like account, customer name or something like from table, table, we can code like this. Okay, so here at the end of this SQL we can use this semicolon here, or we can use inside also, but we use here. It is, so this is the difference. So in Spoofy, yesterday we ran SQL directly using the tool, right? There we can we can run this SQL queries or SQL statement directly. But when you go to program, so we have to add these delimiters within the scope of this execute SQL. Exec means execute this SQL. So end of this SQL like that. So we are deliberately we are telling it is non-DB2. Sorry, yeah, it is like other environment. So we are entering into other environment. So we are executing SQL, especially to indicate the compiler. We are using these statements. Okay, so this we have to use. So let's code the program and we'll explain that more in detail. So in working storage, we use a default copybook. So exec SQL and exec. So first we'll tell about how. So for this table, we have created yesterday one table, right? So what is the table name we used? So 15, option 15 for DB2. So one spoofy we went here. And this is a table we have created yesterday. Okay, let's see if the table is there or not. I deleted at the end. So select star from table. You can see if there is data or not. Okay, table columns are there, but there is no data. Okay. So only columns are there. The records are deleted. So somebody maybe ran this delete command, delete rows from table like that. We have delete command, right? So for this table, so we to use this variables. So these are the variables, right? Table variables, customer account, customer name, this time. So these variables we have to refer in program. We have to use these variables in program. So for that we have to generate the DCL gen. So we call it as we have to create the layout of this table. This is like how for file we have layout, right? This customer account, customer name, transaction ID, like this we have layout. Layout is nothing but collection of that field names. Declaration we can call it as layout. Okay, so same way we have to create the layout for table. Already the table has layout, means table has field names, but we need variable definition. Okay. Yeah, can you all please go on mute if you're not speaking? So we need these variables inside a copybook. Okay. So for that, what we do is, so we have to go to option 2 here. So from main primary menu, so option 15 and then go to Option 2, DCL gen, generate SQL and source language declarations. So we need declaration of this DCL gen. So for this variables, whatever we have these variables, or we can see. So these are the variables we have, right? These are DB2 variables. Okay. So we have created a table with these variables. So I will keep this in Notepad and will explain. So these are DB2 variables. Okay. For all these variables, we need COBOL equivalent variables because we are moving now. We have to move the data from COBOL variable. COBOL means file variable. So file on a customer account nunchi we have to move the data to customer account of table like that. So I will delete this program. I will again create. So we'll use layout only to make you understand easily. Okay, I'm doing cut again. PGM4. So we'll use same. We'll use the file layout here. So I just change this to explain what is copybook. Okay, only. Okay. Now I am using the variable names inside program only. Okay. So what I'm saying, this is input file variable. These are input file variables, right? So I have to read the data from input file into these variables, and then we have to move the value to move means like nothing but we have to insert the values into this table variable. Okay, these variables we need to insert. So for that there should be mapping like, so this is DB2 data types, integer, char, decimal, is char and date, these variables, right? So we need the corresponding COBOL equivalent variables of this. Okay, so here we have integer, char, decimal like this, but here in file we have the variable data types like COBOL. These are COBOL data types: numeric 9x, alphanumeric 9 of 5 dot 9 of 2 for decimal values. So we have this. So there should be a mapping. So for that we have to generate the host variables. So we call, so this is DB2, right? So now, so we need to generate variables for COBOL. So those variables we call it as host variables, host language, the variables used in host language. So that's why we call them as host variables. Okay. So to create those host variables nothing but COBOL equivalent DB2 variables. Okay. So okay, we'll closing this compile JCL. So we have this. So for that, go to main screen, go to option 15, DB2. Here go to DCL gen. So it will generate declarative generator, we call it as. DCL means declarative, GAN means generator. So it will generate source language declarations. Okay. To here give the table name. So our table name is CS. What is the name we have given? CSTTBL or what? Table name is CSTBL. What is that? CS. This is the table name, right?
Yes, sir.
So we have to create a library for this to hold these host variables. So we have to create a library. This library name we call it as DCLgen library. Okay. So same way you have to create the library 3.2, create DCLgen library. So I will share the screenshots. Don't worry. While explaining, I'm navigating through different screens. You don't need to worry. If you follow those screenshots, you will understand how to do and all. Okay. So already this is already I created. So that's why you're getting duplicate dataset name. So when you create first time, you will get next screen there. You can give the values here. So this library already there. So if you want, I will delete again and create. So to delete existing library, you can use same delete D for delete. Okay, deleted. So let me create it quickly. So use here arrow keys and tab on your keyboard to go to options quickly. Okay, DCLGen library I'm creating here. This DCLGen library will hold the table structure and equivalent COBOL variables for the table. Okay, so I have created this library. It is empty now. So now I am creating a member inside the library. Okay, this is the member CUS. What name? Cust table. So I am giving the name as cust table, or we'll give same CS table. Okay, this is table name. Our table name here. This is cust table. Okay. So let me see whether is it the correct name. Okay. So this is object name DB2 object. Okay, source table name. Already we have to create this table. Then only we can generate the layout. So now I'm generating layout for this. So just press enter here. You can see members CST table TBL is added. So you can see return code 0 means successfully we created this. We generated this layout for the table. So if you see, so if you see this library, whatever we created, now you can see a member created here. Okay, what it will have? It will have the table structure, table DB2 declaration, and mainly it will generate this COBOL equivalent variables of this all variables. Okay, cust account, this is integer, right? DB2, that equivalent data type in COBOL. Okay, cust account, that integer is equal to this S9 of 9. Comp means computational variables. Okay, so computational variables, computational data type. So this data type I didn't explain you. So we have along with numeric 9 along with alphanumeric X, we also have computational variables, comp variables we call it as simply. So these variables we use specially for computation purpose or to save the memory. So it will compress the data and store in less memory area. Okay, so I will explain this how they look like and all in some other session. Okay, for integers, so this is the equivalence. Instead of 9 of this account number is 6 bytes, right? So integer the maximum length it has 8 bytes. Okay, so this S9 of this length of these variables have fixed length. Okay, we no need to give mention the length here. So S9 of comp will take 8 bytes. Okay, so this is equivalent of this integer. Okay, in next session I will explain this computational variables. No need to worry. Okay, so this is customer name character. This is character is equal to x of 10 in COBOL, and DB2 all char equal to x of this x variables. Okay, and this decimal amount field is for this we have equivalent comp3 variable. Okay, so earlier we have what we have. So in file we have simply this for decimal values we have used 9 of 5.9 of 2, right? So here I am using 9 of 5 V9 of 2. So this is actual length, but I am using this comp3. So we have in comp also we have three, mainly two types. Three types we have, but we use through three. We use comp and comp3 only we use. Okay, these three. So this comp3, what it will do? Okay, let me explain it quickly. So let's see the file, data in file. So this is normal variable. Normally it will look like data like this. Okay, this normally it will take. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bytes it will take. Okay, if we use comp3 variable, it will store this 8 bytes in 8 byte data in 4 bytes only. Okay, so that is separate concept. I will explain that in later session, but okay, I will just brief you quickly here. So this is file, these are file variables. Okay, now other than this, what we have, COBOL, the variables from generated from table. So these are the variables we have. These variables are from table. Can you all see my notepad?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these are file variables. Okay. So we have DB2 equivalent COBOL variables. We call it as host variables. Okay. So for each DB2 field, we get this the corresponding COBOL equivalent variable generated using the DCL gen. So DCL gen, this is DCL gen, declarative generator output. Okay. So if you take a normal, let's see. So in file we have comp and comp3 variables. So these are computational variables. This will store the data. So numeric we have, so far you have seen numeric and alphanumeric. So numeric it will show as it is, it will store data as it is. Okay. Here else it also store as it is, store data as it is, this data type. This also do same as it is. But comp3, comp and comp3, what this will do? So comp will store data in binary format. Okay, which we cannot see. We can see only when display those variables value. So comp will store the data in hexadecimal format. You no need to worry about by looking these statements, this hexadecimal and all. I will. This is very simple. So just definition you need to know. Other than that, there is nothing. So we'll store data in binary format. Binary means zeros and ones. So example, comp3 it will look like junk data, zeros and ones. So So for example, we have, in this case, we have customer account number. This is stored, this is converted. So in the file we have, this is 9 of 6 customer account number, but in DB2 equivalent COBOL variable, it is, so it is integer, the DB2 data type. For that we are getting this comp variable. Okay, so it will store this. So comp, it will store this data, something, some digits or something. We can't understand these things. So it will store something like that. So we cannot read that. COBOL will read that. And for example, this is normal. It will use this. Okay. If we use 9 of 6, it will display like this. So 9 of, pick 9 of 6 means it will display like this. So 9 of 6 comp. So S means sign, it will like plus or minus, it will add. If it is plus, it will add plus in the beginning, like that. So we can also use here S. So you can have like positive value, negative values. For this sign symbol, we can use here letter S. Pick S9 of S. 9 we can use. It's a positive value. So account number will be always positive only. So by default, it is positive. This comp and comp3, to represent these things, we use this S symbol especially. So this is comp example. So when you display this variable, something, this is A, let's say A, variable B. So when you display this A or B, you can see the value same as readable. You can understand by displaying. Okay. The storage only difference. Okay. We can see the data same as it is. Storage and declaration only, you can see it's bit difference. Okay. So comp is like that. And if you go to this comp3, so we have the variable here, customer amount. Okay. So I will take separate session for this to make you understand. Just now explaining to avoid some gap. If you feel that I don't know comp, so just to clear that, I'm explaining now. So customer amount, same. Okay, so amount, just we were explaining the amount 50,000, right? So it will store as it is. So whereas this comp3 will store the data, it will compress, and in each, it will store 2 bytes in each byte. So it will store this value as 500, like that. It will store here. So here it will use a letter to represent positive or negative, like that. So since same this data, so same data, you can see this is this took 4 bytes here, 4-byte memory. So here it is taking total how many bytes it is taking? 5 plus 2, 7 bytes it is taking. For example, let's see, it is, I'm using v9 of 2. So it will store to store this data, it will use 7 bytes. To store same data, this comp3 will use only 4-byte memory. Okay, so it will store 2 characters or 2 digits in each byte. That is the advantage. Store 2 characters in each byte. Okay, So you have to read the data like this here, top to bottom, 500 like that. So if it is, for example, data values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it will be 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you have to read the data like this. Inside the file, you can see data like this. So I will show you example, real-time example when it comes. Okay. So you have to read type top to bottom, 5, 1 and diagonal 2, again bottom 3, 4. So last two will be this decimal points, 0.56. D means positive like that. Okay. So yeah, forget about it. Just storage only different. The data is same, just the way of storage, storing data. Efficient way of storing data. Like in short memory, it is storing huge more data. Like that. That is advantage of COM3. So at the end, all these are variables only. Only data type, the storage mechanism is different. We can see the data as it is. So మనకు నార్మల్ గా కనిపిస్తుంది డేటా అనేది మనం ఏం వరి కావాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. Okay, you just need to know how that this store the data. So I will take separate session for that. Don't worry now. Okay, so okay, let me go to program. Can you see the screen mainframe? We can.
Yes.
Okay, so we have generated this layout, right? Where is that? Yeah, this is the COBOL equivalent layout for this table. But this DB2 variables, equivalent variables, we have this. Okay, so we need to use these variables in the program. Okay, so to call this, to use this in this layout in the program, I just use copybook. I will use copy statement. Okay. So in COBOL we use copy. If you go to DB2, we use include statement, same thing. So exec in between all DB2 related statements, so you have to code in between exec SQL and end exec. Okay, this will separate this. This will tell, okay, this is non DB2, this is non COBOL code. It will treat like that. Okay, here include this. Okay, this no need to use period here. So like how we have in COBOL copy statement, copybook elano. Same way in case of DB2, we have used right cust copybook. Same way ila use just same, that is equivalent to include here. So include means it will include this layout in this program. Okay. So this is DB2 related, right? That's why we have to use this scope, these delimiters, we can say. ఈ స్టార్ట్ ఎండ్ ఇది DB2 సంబంధించిన స్టేట్మెంట్. దీని స్టార్టింగ్ ఇది ఎగ్జిక్యూటింగ్ DB2 స్టేట్మెంట్, ఎగ్జిక్యూటింగ్ exec SQL అని ఇస్తాం. And we write the DB2 related statement, whether it is declaration or whatever statement. And this is end of this DB2 related statement. Okay, so when you compile this, this will be expanded. Now let's go to okay, we'll quickly finish in 5 minutes. We'll code the program, we'll execute this tomorrow. Okay, so now we are done with declaration of DB2 variables. Okay, then what we need to do, so we are reading the file same as previous. So in the mundu kuda manam file read chestunnamo. Earlier we were writing the records in output file, right? Now our requirement is to insert the records in DB2 table. So I want to insert only this customer type DB2 insert చేద్దాం అనుకుంటున్నా, for example, let's say, or I want to insert all the records. Then I will remove this condition. Simply I will insert all this. So for inserting, we have to write insert statement. So before inserting, what I have to do, I have to move the values. Okay, from file where these are file variables, right? Input file variable, this variable to these output variables. Now I have to use DB2 variables, COBOL DB2 variables, nothing but host variables. So what are our host variables? So we have, this is the DCL gen, right? So these are the host variables. I have to use these variables: account, customer name, RAN ID, these things, CST. So I will just do copy paste here. So control C, control D, control V I did. So removing this thing. So in the manam output file lo records rasnam. That's why we moved the variable data from input file variables to output file variables. But now we are writing, we want to insert data into DB2. That's why I am moving the data from input file variables to DB2 host variables. Okay. So input file lo nunchi data ane తీసుకుంటున్నా. Okay. What is input file here? Where is that? So this is input file. ఈ data అనేది నేను తీసుకుంటున్నా ఈ variables లోకి. Okay. So when I do read, so here this is in the మనం previous run చేసిన program ఇది. When I do read file, so what will happen? Read అన్నప్పుడు it will read complete this record మొత్తం read అవుతుంది. Read అయ్యి every field కి data వస్తుంది. Okay, all these fields will get data. Now after reading, what I am doing, I am processing here. Perform process అంటున్నా కదా. So same ఈ process పేరాలో I am moving this data to DB2 host variables. Okay. So ఈ variables అనేటి table variables. Okay. ఈ variables లోకి move చేస్తున్నా. Move చేసిన తర్వాత what we have to do next? We have to write a insert query. So yesterday we discussed, right? To insert data, to write data into table, we have to use insert query. So for that also we have to use exec SQL and then insert into table name. What is the table name? We have CST table.
TBL.
So yesterday you have seen, right? Yesterday what we have used, we did same insert, right? So yesterday we insert direct values here. So in ఏం చేసాం మనం insert into table, same command, insert into table, this same command, values. So values insert చేయాలంటేనేమో you can give values here. It will be inserted into corresponding column. Yeah, please go on mute if you are not speaking. So now we are inserting the fields, field to field insertion we are doing. We are not inserting values. We are doing insertion using field names. Okay. So for this you have to use the different field names you have to use. Okay. Insert into table. Let me use. So we'll insert 10 blank lines. Okay. Insert into table name. Here you have to use the table variables. So table variables, what are the table variables? This is the DCL gen, right? We are inserting into table. Okay. So for in this syntax, we have to insert use these table variables only. Okay. These are the table names, or we can say table variable names. Okay. Insert into table, and in bracket you have to mention that variable names. Okay. Account number, comma, this TRAN ID, bank, this. So you can see underscores here. DB2 will only use underscores or normal variables. It will not use hyphens. Same way, COBOL will use only hyphens. These are COBOL variables. Hyphens. If COBOL equivalent DB2 names. Okay, so here we are inserting into these fields. So two way, the values insert చేయడం ఉంటుంది. మీరు టేబుల్ ఇక్కడ టేబుల్ నేమ్ ఇట్లా సారీ వేరియబుల్ నేమ్ ఇచ్చి కూడా ఇన్సర్ట్ చేయొచ్చు. ఇన్ బ్రాకెట్ యూ కెన్ గివ్ వేరియబుల్ నేమ్. సో ఇఫ్ యూ ఇన్సర్ట్ 2 values, other variables names, other field names will get blanked out. Okay, if you want, we'll just show you an example here. Same, there is nothing new we are doing. So I want to insert only 2 values, 2 values for 2 columns. So one is, what are our names? Customer account number. This is table name, table variable, right? Customer account number and customer name. Rende insert చేద్దాం అనుకున్న table లో. Okay. So if you insert this, so table field names ఇచ్చి కూడా ఈ field names కి ఈ values పెట్టండి అట్లా కూడా మనం ఇన్సర్ట్ చేయొచ్చు. Here we didn't use field names. Okay. So if you insert only these two, okay, it is saying illegal use of token. Okay, semicolon లేదు ending లో. Okay. So now you can see here. So కనిపిస్తుంది అందరికి, ఓన్లీ వీ హ్యావ్ డేటా ఫర్ 2 fields. కస్టమర్ అకౌంట్, కస్టమర్ నేమ్ రెండే వచ్చినాయి. కస్టమర్ ట్రాన్ ఐడి, అమౌంట్ ఇవన్నీ బ్లాంక్ ఉన్నాయి చూడండి. సో దీస్ ఆర్ కాల్డ్ ఎస్ నల్ వాల్యూస్. నల్ అంటే ఆ వాల్యూ ఏముందో కూడా తెలియదు మనకు. ఓకే, ఓన్లీ నేను 2 fieldsకే ఇచ్చా డేటా, అకౌంట్ నేమ్. సో ఇట్లా ఫీల్డ్ నేమ్స్ ఇచ్చి కూడా ఇన్సర్ట్ చేయొచ్చు. జస్ట్ ఐ వాంట్ టు ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ కమాండ్. సో హియర్ ఐఎమ్ యూజింగ్ ఫీల్డ్ నేమ్స్, టేబుల్ ఫీల్డ్ నేమ్స్, అండ్ నౌ హియర్ ఐ హ్యావ్ టు గివ్ ద వాల్యూస్. Same values. In bracket, you can mention, you can give the hard code values like that, what 2022 itla ivochu. Other way is we can use the variable directly. So we have the values populated into these variables, right? The variables ki values vastunnayi input file nunchi. So now directly we can use these variables. Okay, I will add 10 more lines. Okay, it's not taking. Okay, so values bracket, here I use the variable names. Okay, these are host variables. Okay, that's, so we have to use colon symbols when you use within scope of exec SQL and exec. We have to use colons for this host variables. So this is start of these values and end of these values. Okay, so if I run this program, data will be inserted from file to table. So end exec, we have to use end exec here, end of this SQL. Okay, let's run quickly and you can see what it has. So I'm reading from table and I'm inserting these values into, reading from file. This is different query. So you can see here processing happening here. So I'm reading data from file here, moving into DB2 COBOL variables, nothing but host variables. From these host variables, COBOL variables, nothing but these are normal direct COBOL variables. ఇవేంటంటే ఈ వేరియబుల్స్ అనేటి DB2 ఈక్వలెంట్ కాబట్టి we call this as host variables. ఓకే, సో COBOL ప్రోగ్రామ్ మనం వాడినప్పుడు వీటిని డైరెక్ట్ గా వాడతాం. ఈ SQL లో వాడినప్పుడు వీటికి ముందు మనం ఈ కోలన్ సింబల్ ఇవ్వాలి. ఓకే, because these are host variables. If only this exec SQL and exec understand only DB2. So these are DB2 names. Directly we can use this DB2 column names. This will not understand this COBOL variable. That's why we are using this colon symbol. That means they treat these as host variables. Okay, so if I compile this program, data will compile and execute this program, data will be read from file, and that will be inserted into this DB2 table. Okay, guys, so we can do compilation and execution tomorrow. Okay, anyone has any doubt so far? So meanwhile, you can practice SQL and previously we discussed about files, right? If you practice SQL and files, you will understand. Then you can easily catch the things. Okay, we'll connect again tomorrow. Okay, we'll show you the output of this. Thank you all for joining.
Okay.